You walk into someone's home, and it feels different. Clean lines, open spaces, almost nothing on the counters. You feel calmer just standing there. Then you think about your own desk. Papers stacked, clothes on the chair, things you meant to deal with later. Even the idea of tidying up feels strangely exhausting. Why do some people thrive with less while others feel overwhelmed just thinking about letting go? Minimalism isn't really about taste, discipline, or aesthetics. It's tied to how different brains handle stress, attention, and control. And once you see it, you start noticing why clutter barely registers for some people, but quietly drains others every single day. Some people are drawn to minimalism because their brains crave clarity. Every object in a cluttered room isn't just a thing, it's an unfinished task. Mail waiting to be opened, clothes you'll decide about later, items that carry a silent, "do something with me" attached. For some brains, these small signals stack up. Visual clutter turns into mental clutter. Thinking feels heavier. Focus slips faster. That's why simplified environments often bring real relief, not because minimalists are more disciplined, but because their minds function better with fewer open loops. If clutter ever irritates you in a way you can't logically explain, this is often why. Minimalists also tend to experience a strong sense of internal control. They don't rely as much on external fixes, a new purchase, an upgrade, a trend, to feel better or more grounded. Imagine standing in a store, holding something you could buy, and walking away without friction. Not because you're denying yourself, but because you don't need it to feel complete. Owning less doesn't feel like deprivation to them. It feels like freedom. Each decision reinforces autonomy. Life becomes intentional instead of reactive. Pleasure isn't rejected, it's filtered. Experiences matter more than possessions. Material things often act as short-term substitutes for validation or connection. But minimalists usually get those needs met internally or through relationships. Travel, learning, shared moments. These leave something behind that objects rarely do. Many people only realize this after noticing how quickly the excitement of a purchase fades, while memories, growth, and connection keep paying emotional dividends long after. Sensitivity to overstimulation plays a role too. Roughly 1 in 5 people are wired to react strongly to sensory overload. For them, clutter isn't neutral, it's activating. A crowded room doesn't just look busy, it triggers stress responses, pulls attention apart, and drains energy quietly. That's why minimalism often extends beyond possessions into schedules, routines, and commitments. Fewer inputs, fewer obligations, more space to think. But this is also where minimalism can backfire. When simplicity turns into obsession, or guilt replaces freedom, it becomes just another form of mental noise. One kind of clutter traded for another. Minimalists also think ahead. Every purchase passes through a future lens. Will this matter later? Where will it live? What problem does it create down the line? This future-oriented thinking naturally limits accumulation and reduces impulsivity. Minimalism isn't about sacrificing today, it's about protecting tomorrow. Even small choices, keeping a book, donating it, postponing a purchase, become quiet acts of intention. When you step back, minimalism isn't really about style at all. It's about cognitive alignment. If you're drawn to it, your brain may crave order, autonomy, and meaning through experiences rather than objects. If it doesn't appeal to you, that's not a flaw. Some minds thrive on variety, abundance, and stimulation. Minimalism reflects how a mind works. It isn't a moral standard. So the next time you look around your space, pay attention to how it makes you feel. Does clutter fade into the background or quietly pull at your attention? Does a tidy corner calm you more than you expected? Your environment isn't decoration, it's feedback. And understanding that gives you something far more valuable than a perfectly clean room, the ability to design a life that works with your mind instead of against it. If this resonated, let me know in the comments. Do Do you feel energized by simplicity or stimulated by abundance? Noticing the difference is often the first step toward building a life that actually fits you.